Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're your one-stop shop for all things positive within your fandom. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place and we're so happy to have you here. Now, today is Something Saturday where we talk about all the things we didn't get to talk about the rest of the week, and we do have a couple of things to touch on, such as Scream 6 news. We also have Five Nights at Freddy's news. And we have some DC news. And of course, there's a little bit of news regarding the series Velma, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so we have the Scream 6 news first to talk about, and apparently there's a couple things that have come out that we should talk about, some information regarding its release. So basically, they're going to have a fan event on March 9th, which means some people will be able to get to see it a whole day early. It is also going to be premiering in 3D. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the movie is going to be in 3D all the time. Like, you could probably still see the 2D version of it, as it doesn't seem like the movie was made explicitly in 3D. However, if you want the 3D option, I think it's going to be available pretty much everywhere from what I've gathered. I don't think that's just the first couple days release thing. At least I hope not, because I, for one, think that would be pretty cool to see this movie in 3D, even if it wasn't actually filmed that way. Now, the other thing about the Scream 6 movie that we have to talk about is the fact that it is the longest Scream movie we've ever seen at 2 hours and 3 minutes. So that is pretty good for a Scream movie. It's up there in time. That is in fact the longest Scream movie we've ever gotten in the history of the franchise. So that tells me that maybe this is a lot of action, a lot of horror elements thrown in, some stuff that we should possibly be super excited for. And I actually can't wait to see this movie. And the more I hear about it, the more excited I actually am to see it. And I will be checking it out in 3D. Next up, we have the Five Nights at Freddy news. And this news comes to us directly from Matthew Lillard, who told us that when he signed on to this film, that he found out that this film was going to be, in fact, a trilogy. So we're going to be getting 3 Five Nights at Freddy's movies. And I think that would be pretty exciting because I for one have not really played the video game a whole lot. I have dabbled in it a little bit. I played number 1 and I thought it was an okay video game. However, for me, the idea of the movie and the other stuff, the other books and all this other stuff that they do have coming out, I think is what is keeping this franchise alive and keeping it fresh. The characters and the plot of the franchise, the video game element of it, are really cool. And they actually lend themselves very well to any type of media. So I am excited to see this movie. And the fact that they're going to give us 3 of them tells me that it is going to be cool. Now, when I say I haven't played them, I haven't played all of the video games. I have, in fact, watched a lot of playthroughs and read a lot about the different games that have come out at Five Nights at Freddy's. And I really do like the franchise as a whole. I just really do not play it that much, but I am still super excited to see what they do with this project. I think it's going to be really cool. Next, we have to talk about this Velma news. Velma is apparently getting a season 2. Now, I've heard a lot of really bad things about Velma, and personally, I don't know that this series is for me because of the content I've heard it's about. I've heard it has a lot of really harsh insults in it, and that the movie, in fact, isn't really a lot of fun. And I have watched a little bit of the YouTubers talking about this movie, and I tend to agree with them that this movie kind of changes everything that I grew up liking about Scooby-Doo. And since I really don't have a massive opinion on whether or not I think this series would be worthwhile for me to watch, I haven't watched it yet. But it is in fact getting a season 2, so that's why I'm kind of talking about it now. I want to know from you guys if you think that it deserves a season 2. And what do you think should be going on in season 2 if you have watched the series? I want to know if you think I should check it out or what you guys are thinking in terms of it at all. Okay, so then our last topic is the DCEU. It seems that some of the people who work there under the last bosses are kind of feeling a little bit less than loved by Jame Gunn, if you believe it. And the reason that they're saying this is because of what Jame Gunn and his partner in crime have said about how they're changing things and about how they want to make the DCEU into a connective tissue. Now, that's not that bad at all when you think about it, as that was one of the major problems with the Snyderverse as a whole, was that pretty much we ended up getting a lot of movies that weren't connected to each other. They were still connected within the universe, but they just didn't feel like they were one connective plot. And that's more of the look they were going for, and that's really what they were trying to say. But a lot of the website news and stuff is saying something worse. They are in fact saying that these employees are bitter. And I kind of take this with a grain of salt because I don't know how much of this you can really believe. A lot of these news sites are click-to-bait type of things, and they want you to click on their article and they want to give you something cool to read. Now, sometimes this is based in fact and sometimes it isn't. But let me tell you something though. If in fact these employees are saying that, it's bad form on their part. They probably won't be around very long because you don't tend to say bad things about your employees. It just doesn't usually work out that way. And you know, it's kind of one of those things you don't usually want to do. So if in fact they are saying this about him, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking in terms of this because honestly, I think that if you're involved in projects and they keep you after the former person leaves, that you should be happy and ready to move on to the next project with them. And these people, if they are in fact doing that, probably aren't going to be around very long, and I think they will fire them very quietly. So I thought we'd talk a little bit there about that and just kind of ask you guys, what do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth to these rumors? And as the new boss, if you were these two and you came in and you had to take over a project and you chose to keep these people and they undermined you by talking about how great the other boss was and kind of spitting in your face, how would you feel about that? How would you handle it? Because essentially it's not really good form to criticize your new boss this early in the game after he has decided to keep you on. Now, I know there could be circumstances we don't know, and that's why I bring it to you guys. What do you guys think about this? What do you make of this? What is your opinion? That's where we're going to leave it off. So make sure you leave a comment in the comment box and let us know what you thought of any of these topics. We definitely want to hear from you. And share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free and it helps the channel and we appreciate it so much. And Miko says we need more subscribers and you definitely don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And at the end of the day, you know it, I know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.